Hi, I just wanted to do a short video to go with the newsletter, and I wanted to talk about these cycles and the importance of them. So the first time I heard about this was through a little presentation or short presentation 20 years ago on Ayurveda, and the person who was giving the presentation, it was autumn at the time, and he was explaining that during the autumn the energy is coming in. Plants are kind of drawing the energy back inside them. It's really important to actually pay attention to what's going on. It's a time, they call it the Vata season, which is air and ether, and things dry up, your skin, your joints. But this energy going in, it's important to follow that. And that means when you're tired is to actually take a nap, actually relax, grab a cup of tea, slow down. If not, you will be forced to slow down. And the reason why I'm writing this newsletter, or I wrote this newsletter, is I'm just coming out of a bit of a cold, and I was ignoring the season. So I had a gentle reminder of it. But these cycles happen on multiple levels. You can have really short cycles, which is a blink of an eye. It goes dark, it goes back light, activity, no activity. But you can have like a heartbeat, but a human life cycle. So you're small, you grow, there's lots of activity, things start to slow down. It's living in harmony with the various cycles that we experience or are influenced by, brings a lot of benefit to life, and it actually strengthens your health. But it goes much deeper than that. Being synchronized, you access a higher level of living. I won't go into details right now, but let's just say if you can learn to play the violin by yourself, but if you learn to play the violin within an orchestra and being synchronized with the whole, you get a whole new level of music that comes out of it. And it's the same with life. In Ayurveda, it's been going around for thousands of years. People have been scratching the surface or trying to understand what health and life is all about. And they invented, or they created a way of communicating this. So they've got lots of stories of little deities or big deities. And there's a lot of symbolism in them to try and explain certain life principles that help you be synchronized, or to get you back into balance when you've gone out of balance. And so here, for example, you've got Ganesha with lots of things in his hands, and every single part of that image symbolizes certain qualities. So a practitioner, if he realized a certain type of imbalance was going on, he would just say, oh, Ganesha's not very happy with you. And why don't you go to the temple and talk with the priests there and learn about what Ganesha would probably want you to do. And you would learn a lifestyle or a way of being to strengthen those parts of you that are needing attention. And so this, I've been wanting to talk about this holistic health, these principles in holistic health for some time now. And I often talk about my version or my understanding of holistic health through practitioners in events or in over the phone when I'm working with RS Lab. I sometimes spend long conversations with practitioners all around the world. And I've been asked to talk more about it and to start my training courses again. So this is where LifeMagicians comes into place. The idea behind LifeMagicians is, if we go back to the idea of learning in our traditional education system, you start off, you're a novice, maybe eager to work, but you really do need to be supervised when you're working. The next bit up is you go through some training and you get some kind of you get to a level where you can actually be useful. You can actually do some work and produce some value in a certain environment. That's what you would call a bachelor's degree. You push that a little bit further and you'll get your master's, and there you can maybe manage a few other people, so you can manage a small team. That's where, when you're a master, that's what you do. The next level up from that is where you become a doctor. And a doctor, the origin of the word doctor is actually related to teaching. And you would actually, in university, if you were a doctor, part of your job or part of the work of becoming a doctor is actually to take on the younger students and help them in their training. So you would actually be communicating and you'd be running teaching classes and things like that. The next level up from that is where you become a professor, and you're pushing the boundaries of that field of knowledge where you're working in. You're expected to do research, and you go beyond the known edges of your field of work. The next level up from that is called the mage or the magician. It's a little bit lost in our modern day. We don't really talk about magician other than pulling rabbits out of hats, but it's got nothing to do with that. It's just your understanding, your level of understanding of more than just your field, but the principles behind life itself are starting to be understood. And you can get that by focusing on one field of work and really going deep, and you start realizing that the principles apply to a lot of areas in life. So, for example, the idea of cycles happens in many areas of life, and that's just one principle, but there's many principles that apply in many areas. And once you start really grasping these principles, your work can sometimes seem to a novice as if you're doing magic. You're able to be in the right place at the right time, and the idea that you get in stories of the magician, behind that there is some truth to the fact that the deeper you go, the more skilled you are at life itself. And so that's where the idea of Life Magicians comes in. It's a space where we will go through the principles and learn together, and it's a journey. It's not something you learn and then memorize and are able to produce. It's actually more of a journey, a practice, something you put into action in your day. And it's through that you build internal skills to see these patterns, see these principles, these life principles. And so Life Magicians, if you're interested, sign up to the newsletter, and there'll be more of this coming. Now, it's not for everybody, so only subscribe if you're interested in going deeper, in scratching kind of and looking under the surface. Just like with when sometimes you pick up a book and it doesn't work. You just don't find it interesting. You think it's boring, but maybe you pick up that book 10 years later and you realize, wow, this is an amazing book. It's happened to me a number of times. It may have happened to you. There's many ways to progress. There's many ways to learn something, and my approach is maybe not the right approach for you at this time or at any time. But I would only encourage you I would only invite you to subscribe if something in you goes, I want to know more. I'm really keen to know more about this. If it's just a passing interest, don't subscribe. Anyway, so the idea is that on this new space, I will be more focused on holistic health rather than purely iridology or something like that. I will be talking about that because there's a lot of very useful information, and this is how I actually use iridology, is to try and gather clues as to what's going on, what is out of balance. And the eye does help you ask certain questions and see certain patterns emerge. So yeah, hopefully see you soon on Life Magicians.